Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is our video for the STEM hypothesis, which is what we did in class today. All right, guys, we are starting with our STEM notebook. You need to go to a new section, or not a new section, but a new piece of paper. Remember, we do one thing, one entry on a piece of paper. We don't start halfway through a piece of paper. So you do need your sticky note to indicate where I need to look to grade. And remember, we have to put our date. Today is the 15th. And we also need our page number. And for me, this is page number 16. I put it down in the bottom corner. That way I know where to look for it. Either bottom corner is fine, but when you put it up at the top, it gets confusing. So this page should be titled Hypothesis. HYPOTHESIS. Make sure I spell it right. So we're talking about our hypothesis. And the first thing that we have to do with a hypothesis is we need to define what it is. You can't create a hypothesis if you don't know what it is. So we're going to do our definition, HYPOTHESIS. So a hypothesis is an educated guess. And that keyword is educated. As to the outcome of an investigation based on research and /or background knowledge. All right, so hypothesis is an educated guess as to the outcome of an investigation based on research and background knowledge. And the key part here is educated and research based on research and or background knowledge. All right, so now we're going to talk about the components of a hypothesis statement. Components of a hypothesis statement. And there are two components. And the first one is your guess sentence or your prediction sentence. And your guess sentence has to start out in a certain way. You can put I believe as an example of a way to start your hypothesis statement. My hypothesis. My hypothesis is I believe. I think. I guess. So you're starting out with what you think will happen or what you believe will happen with the outcome of the investigation. So that's your guess sentence, and it doesn't require to be a full sentence regarding your project. The next component, because there are two, this is your reason statement or your because statement. And this is where you justify your thinking. Justify your thinking. All right, so the components of a hypothesis statement has to have the guess sentence. This is what you guess will happen in your investigation, and then your reason statement. And you can start your guess sentence with I believe, my hypothesis is, I think, or I guess. And then your reason statement is where you justify your thinking. I believe this will happen because. And this is where you give your support for your thinking. So I believe this will happen because, or, my research told me. My research indicated. My experience these are all ways to begin your reason statement. All right. And so the next thing I want to do is I want to talk about the criteria for a written paragraph. So this is criteria for writing your hypothesis. So these are the components, these are the pieces it has to be made of. Now we're going to talk about the criteria. So the criteria for writing is I expect paragraph form. And what that entails is first line indented. So I'll actually do that here. First line indented. Capital letters at the beginning of sentences, capital letters for proper nouns. And the beginning of sentences. All right, I'm going to need to go to my next page. So the first thing I'm going to do, date and page number. And this is page 17 over here, so that way I don't forget. The next criteria are punctuations at the end of sentences. Punctuations, I spelled it wrong. Let me try that again. P-U-N-C-T-U. Punctuations at end of sentences. And of course, you must have at least your two sentences, one answering what is your guess and the other answering what is your justification. Two sentences addressing the guess and reason. The last requirement of this is that other than your first line, so other than the indented line, all other writing should be up to the red line. So other than first line in a paragraph, all other lines must begin at the red left line. And if you don't have a red left line, obviously you can make a line down your paper I know a couple of you have some graph paper. Make a line down your paper and just know that that's the line you have to come up to. We have to get used to using as much space as we're given, because on FSA, you are limited on the amount of pages you have for writing. And if you start writing over here, you're losing all this writing space here. So now I want to give you an example of what a valid hypothesis might look like. So I think that Coke Zero, and that's a proper noun, so it's capital. Coke Zero has more carbonation than Coca-Cola, period. That's my guess statement. I think that Coke Zero has more carbonation than Coca-Cola. My reasoning is that the product Coke has more sodium and calories in each can based on my research, which leaves less room for other things like carbonation. Period. All right. I think that Coke Zero has more carbonation than Coca-Cola. My reasoning is that the product Coke has more sodium and calories in each can than Coke Zero in each can based on my research, which leaves less room for other things like carbonation. So first line's indented. Let me get my fill marker here. First line is indented. Beginning of my sentence. Beginning of my sentence, both are capital. Proper nouns. Proper nouns. Coke Zero is a proper noun, it's capitalized. Coca-Cola is a proper noun, it's capitalized. I have Coke here, which is a nickname for Coca-Cola, it's capitalized. Here's another Coke Zero, it's capitalized. All right, now punctuations. I should have at least two. I've got, let me get another color marker. Here's a punctuation to end my guess sentence. Here's a punctuation to end my reasoning statement. And I actually have a comma in there as well. And my other criteria was making sure that all these other lines, other than the first one for indentation, comes right up to the margin, which they do. So this is a valid written hypothesis. Now remember, if you're in my morning class, you are doing your hypothesis on which mask will allow water to get through or not get through. So AM class. Which mask allows less water through? And for my PM class, it's which brand of taco shell. Remember, we're using the super soft taco shells by Mission and Old El Paso. Will hold up to more meat. And we have to remember that the types of taco shells and the names of masks, those have to be capitalized because those are proper nouns. So your assignment is to write a hypothesis statement. containing those two criteria components, the guess sentence and the reasoning sentence. Your criteria for a well-written hypothesis has to be paragraph form, first lines indented, capital letters for proper nouns and beginning of sentences, punctuations at the end of each sentence, at least 2 sentences addressing both the guess and the reason. And then other than the first line, all other lines must begin at the red left line or the left margin. Again, here's my example, and this is due tomorrow, 11/16. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope this clarifies the expectation for hypothesis.